Hello, good morning. This is Digital Signal Processing lecture number 28. So today we are going to start with a unit number 4, fast Fourier transform. Fast Fourier transform, in short, it is called as a FFT algorithm. So we will be looking into this chapter about FFT algorithm. There are two FFT algorithms. One is called as a decimation in time and another called as a decimation in frequency. So let us have a look into the syllabus. This is a FFT algorithm in which we are going to study about Radix2 FFT algorithm for computation of DFT and IDFT. Radix2 FFT algorithm for the computation of DFT and FFT. Decimation in time called as a DIT and decimation in frequency called as a DIF algorithm. And finally, we will go through Goetzel algorithm. So it takes 6 hours to complete the entire contents of this chapter. The textbooks which is going to be helpful for doing this exercise or for this understanding this FFT algorithm. This Digital Signal Processing by John G. Prokis, Digital Signal Processing by Ramesh Babu. These are the two books which covers the contents mentioned in the syllabus. Okay. So now let us start with the first discrete Fourier transform, because we are now going to understand the discrete Fourier transform, inverse discrete Fourier transform, and how many computations are required in order to compute DFT and IDFT, and how to reduce the number of computations by means of Radix2 algorithm. So these are the important things that we are going to study with this particular topic. So direct evaluation of DFT. So direct evaluation means what? We are using formula in order to compute DFT. So it means direct evaluation of DFT. So we have a DFT. We know formula for computation of DFT. It is x of k is equal to summation n varies from 0 to n minus 1 x of n e raised to minus j 2 pi k n divided by capital N. So with this we can find out a DFT value. So this is the formula in order to find out DFT value. So DFT values. Okay. Then IDFT is inverse discrete Fourier transform. So the formula for computation of IDFT is given here, and it is x of n, which is equal to 1 by n summation k varies from 0 to n minus 1 x of k e raised to j 2 pi k n divided by capital N. So if you observe here, in case of DFT computations, now we will understand how many number of computations are required for direct evaluation. So if I am considering 4-point DFT, then this formula we can write it as summation n varies from 0 to 3, because I am considering 4-point DFT. So capital N is equal to 4, and therefore the range for this summation will vary from 0 to 3. Here this is x of n followed by e raised to minus j 2 pi k n divided by capital N. So here capital N is 4, and that is equal to x of k. In this case, the DFT values, as we are calculating for 4-point DFT, so k is also going to vary, or value of k we will be taking from 0 to 3, 0 to n minus 1. It is going to vary from 0 to 3. So there are two variables, k and another variable is this small n. Both are varying from 0 to 3. Now, if I want to calculate what we do, we calculate DFT values one after another by substituting value of K. So if I'm substituting value of K is equal to 0, so how many, now why I am doing this exercise? Because I want to show that for 4-point DFT, how many number of computations are needed. So we can generalize it for the n-point DFT. Okay, so if I'm substituting K equal to 0, what I will be getting? The first point DFT, x of 0. So how do I calculate this? I will be substituting value of n subsequently in this equation. So the first value, x of 0, because value of n is 0, K is 0, and this n is also 0. So it is going to be e raised to 0, first computation. Then next, I will be adding this, because next addition is there. So this summation, multiplication, and then addition. So here next is n equal to 1. If I am substituting n equal to 1, x of 1, value of n is 1. So it is x of 1 e raised to, now here K is 0 and n is 1. But multiplication is there. So we will be writing e raised to 0 plus, here it is x of 2 into, because value, next value of n is 2. So we have substituted n equal to 2 into e raised to, we will talk about. So K is 0, n is 2. So it is going to be 0 only. Plus what I will be having, n equal to 3, next value of n. So n equal to 3. So I will be writing here x of 3. Now this exponential part we will talk about. So K is 0, n is 3. So ultimately it is going to be 0. Now let us count how many complex multiplications are required. If you count here, this is 1, 2, 3, and 4. So I can write here for 1 point computation. Now listen, 1 point computation, how many complex additions and how many complex multiplications are required? Complex multiplications are required. So we will count it and then we will write it for n point DFT. Now in this case we will be writing it for 4-point DFT. So here now complex multiplication we will talk about. This is 1, this is 2, this is 3, and this is 4. So how many multiplications I have to do here? 4 complex multiplication I have to do. Addition we will count about. So this is 1 addition, this is 2nd addition, and this one is the 3rd addition. So 3 additions are required. So this is what I have shown you. This is for 1-point DFT. So 4-point DFT now. This is what from x of 0. From this example, I have shown that for 1-point DFT computations, I need to perform 4 complex multiplications and 3 complex additions. Now for 4-point DFT, we will write down for 4-point DFT, how many complex multiplications are required? Complex multiplications though that are required, I can write here complex multiplication. This is 4 point. So this is going to be 4 multiplied by 4. This is going to be 4 multiplied by 4. In the similar way, I can write it as addition, complex addition. So how many complex additions are required? This is 4 points. So I will write 4 as it is, multiplied by additions. How many? 3 additions per point computation. So 3 multiplied by 4. So these many multiplications and these many additions are required. Now we will generalize this case. I'm going to write for n-point DFT. We'll generalize this. For n-point DFT, how many complex multiplications will be required? As there is a n point, so we will be writing n multiplied by additions. Multiplication. So here again n multiplication. So n by n multiplications and additions are required. So I will be writing here as this 4. So we will write n, and this is 3. So we will write as n minus 1. So this way we can generalize the number of complex multiplications required and number of complex additions are required in order to compute the n point DFT. So this is important. So these many multiplications are required. As you are now looking into a 4-point DFT, so you find it is a simple, less amount of computations are required. But when we go for 64-point DFT, then again 128-point DFT, so computations are going to increase. So these many computations, for doing these many computation, it will take more time. So in order to reduce these many computations and time for doing these complex computations, the algorithm developed called as a radix 2 algorithm. So we will look into that in the next slide. So here we will look into a complex addition and complex multiplication. So here it is mentioned n for k, for there are n number of values, how many multiplications, how many additions are required, it is given here. So summary, baseline for computational complexity is, for each DFT computation we require n number of complex multiplication, n minus number of complex addition, right? So for all n point DFT computations we require n square, n into n multiplications, as I have shown you. For complex n number of DFT computation, we need n by n multiplication and n into n minus 1 complex addition. So this complexity is more. The complex, now if I convert the entire sequence into a real point sequence and imaginary point sequence, that in that case also my number of computations are also going to increase much. Here you can see that if I'm trying to do by considering the real part and imaginary part, it is going to increase 4 times. Multiplication is going to increase 4 times, because here I have considered only 2 values and then I have shown here. But this exponential part is complex part. If I'm trying to understand in terms of real values and imaginary values, then the number of multiplications and number of additions are naturally, it is going to increase. So the complexity, computational complexity keeps on increasing. So for that purpose, the FFT computation has come into the picture. Why FFT? What is a FFT? FFT is fast Fourier transform. We have seen discrete Fourier transform. Now we will be looking into a fast Fourier transform. So why we are doing this? Because in the earlier slide we have seen that the complex multiplications and complex additions are more, and it is a computationally complexity is going to be increased. As increasing the computational complexity will take much of time to compute the DFT values, IDFT values. The solution for this is to implement a FFT algorithm. So FFT algorithm is based on, as you know, that divide and conquer. The earlier by ruling India, the British has used this policy, divide and conquer. So this kind of policy we will be using for computation of DFT values. So this divide and conquer approach is based on radix to DIT FFT algorithm and radix to DIF FFT algorithm. So what we are going to do? We are going to divide the sequence into a different two parts. So we will be first dividing the sequence into two parts, then separate two different blocks you will be having. Those blocks we will be treating separately, and for those blocks again we will be dividing into two. So divide and conquer. Divide the sequence and then treat the sequence separately, as like in the linear convolution what we did. In the same manner here also we will be doing, but there we have applied for convolution operation. Here we will be applying it for the discrete Fourier transform computation. So here this approach is called as a divide and conquer approach. So based on this approach, there are two algorithms. First algorithm is called as a radix to DIT FFT algorithm, and second algorithm is called as a radix to DIF FFT algorithm. And then we will look into a Goetzel algorithm. This is also for computation of DFT values. This algorithm is also implemented for computation of DFT values. So these are the two important algorithms that we are going to study in this chapter called as a FFT algorithm. So here in the FFT algorithm, we will be trying to find out the computational complexity. We are trying to reduce as compared to the direct computations. Okay, here we will be using butterfly structure. We will see once we go through this algorithm, you will understand. This kind of butterfly structure we will be using for computation of DFT values via DFT and IDFT. In this computation algorithm, this is now, let us say, A input and B input. A input and B input. We are considering there are two inputs, A and B. It is being computed. Now this at this point, this is now, if it is getting multiplied by a Twiddle factor. So this is W factor. So B input is multiplied by Twiddle factor and it has taken to at this point. So and A has come from this. So at this point, one complex addition is taking place. At this point, one complex multiplication is taking place. So in this here, the output of at this point, it is A is equal to A plus this multiplication, W raised to N suffix, W raised to R suffix N into B. So this is one complex addition. Here it is one complex multiplication. Only one multiplication is required, and two additions we are performing here. So this is one complex addition and this is another complex addition in terms of subtraction. So this is this A has come down, then this B gets multiplied by this Twiddle factor, and then it is gets -1. Then this is here you are getting B is equal to A minus W raised to R suffix N into B. So in this way, the butterfly structure this is the working of butterfly structure, right? So here the chart has been given in order to understand direct computation and DIT FFT algorithm computations. So if I am using direct computation, here we have considered the case of 8-point DFT, 16-point DFT, and 1024-point DFT. So if I am using direct computations, in that case, I will have to perform n square multiplication. So 64 multiplication, 256, and this many. This is the number is very big. So these many multiplications that we have to perform. Now complex addition, n into n minus 1. So we have just multiplied n inside. So it has become n square minus n. So 8-point DFT, the number of multiplications will be 56. Number of addition will be 56 addition. For 16-point DFT, number of additions are going to be increased and it is 240. In the same manner, for 16-point DFT, it is 240, and for 1024-point DFT, it is 1047552. So these many complex additions that one need to perform, right? So if I'm using DIT FFT algorithm, in case of DIT FFT algorithm, the complex multiplications are n by 2 log to the base 2 into n. These are the complex multiplication that one has to perform when I'm using DIT FFT algorithm. So in case of 8-point DFT, it is only 12. It is only 12. So let us understand the computations have been reduced by 5 times. It has been reduced 5 times as compared to a direct computation. So this is a big achievement. The number of computations are reduced in 5 in terms of 5 times it has been reduced. That is the big achievement. So therefore DIT FFT algorithm is so popular because it has drastically reduced the number of computations. Computation in the sense of number of complex multiplications and number of complex additions. And then in case of 16-point DFT, it has reduced by 8 times. And 1024-point DFT, now it is big achievement, that is it has been reduced by 204.8, means round about 205 times the number of multiplications has been reduced, and that is the big achievement, and therefore the DIT FFT algorithm is more popular. So when the input data is very big, number of DFT computations are very big. So in that case, we can use DIT FFT algorithm so that we can get the fast computations. So fast computations can be achieved by using this DIT FFT algorithm. So that is the very key point that you should note down. Now, what is radix 2 algorithm? We will be going through radix 2 DIT FFT algorithm. DIT in the sense it is decimation in time. DIT FFT algorithm. So we will understand what is radix 2. This is called as a bit reversed order. This algorithm in which input is reversed. The input bits are shuffling. Therefore, these are the bit reverse. These are having input which is a bit reverse, which is in the bit reversed order. Then in the DFT computation scheme, the DFT samples x of k appear at the output is in the sequential manner. Output will not change. Output will be in the sequential manner. Only what is going to change is that input x of n will be appearing in the different order. So that is why it is called as a bit reversed order. The input is in the reversal order. So input is shuffled, but output is in the sequence. Thus, sequentially ordered x of n must be reordered appropriately before the fast algorithm can be implemented. So if I want to implement this DIT FFT, this fast algorithm, the input order must be reordered because input is in the bit reversal manner. It is in the bit reversed manner. So we will make the input accordingly. We will have to reorder the input. Maybe input is in the ordered manner. We will have to reorder in a such a way that it will fit for the algorithm. It is going to fit for the algorithm. Output is coming in the sequential manner. Let m and n represent the sequential and bit reversed order in binary forms respectively. We have taken the two variables m and n. M represent the sequential, means output is in the sequential manner. N is representing the bit reversed order. So here it is shown that M is in the sequential manner. So this is representing the first point. This is representing the first value in the x of n. So I have taken 8 point. So this is x of m. X of m, which consists of 8 values or 8 points. So this is going to be representing first point. Then this is going to be representing 0 first. Then this is second value. This is third value. This is now my fourth value. I want to show bit reversal order. So I'm writing here sequential values x0 to x7 values, which are now represented in the sequential manner, right from x0 to x7. So sequential manner means one after another: x0, x1, x2, x3, x4, x5, x6, and x7. Now bit reversal we will see. The bit reversal here, bit reversal means what? The order has been changed now. This is representing though it is a zeroth value will be as it is. Though it is the position has been changed. At this point, x0 value is going to occupy this position. Then x4, though it is x1 value, now this value is occupying the x4 value. So here this is going to be x1. Order is now shuffled. This is going to get the x4 value. Then here it is x2 value. Here it is x2 value, and here it is x6 value. See here, the values are now shuffled. Values are reversed. Values have been reordered in terms of variable n in order to calculate the DIT FFT algorithm. So this is x0, x4, x2, x6. Here it is, this is x1, followed by this value is x5, followed by this value is x3, followed by the value is x7. So in this way, the entire order is now reordered, so that we can give this input to the algorithm and then it will calculate the output. Now the point you should note it down that in the first part, what is being done, we have collected all E1 values. These are the E1 values, and then through this E1 value again we have collected the E1 values. So E1 values are x0 and x4, and these are the x2 and x2 and x6. X2 and x6 are the odd values. So what we did, we have divided the sequence into even values and odd values. So my even values are x0 in the first partition. There are two partitions I need to apply here. Why? Because number of points are 8 points. So 8 is nothing but 2 raised to what is that? 2 raised to 3. 2 raised to 3. So I need to apply 3 partitions in the butterfly diagram. But here I'm going to show you the partitions like this is x0, even number we are collecting. So even numbers are from this x0, x2, x4 and x6. These are the even numbers. And through these even numbers, This is one first partition, the first division. And in the second division, again, I am going to divide this sequence into even and odd. So from this, even numbers are x0 and x4. These are my even numbers. So these after that I am writing the odd numbers. Odd numbers are now from this sequence itself. Those are x2 and x6. So in this way, the entire data or data points have been reordered. In the same manner, you can say it for odd values also. In the first partition, what are the odd values? In the first partition, odd values are like x1. Then next odd value is x3, x1, x3. Then next odd value is x5. And next odd value is x7. These are the odd values. From these values, this is first partition, where I have collected even values and odd values. So from these even and odd values, now I have collected the from even values further even and odd values. So now from odd values, what we are going to do, we will be collecting the even values and odd values together. So from these particular odd values, what are the even values further? This is at the position 0 and this is at the position of 2. So these two values are even. So I'm writing here x of 1, then followed by x of 5, and then I'm writing the odd values. So this x of 3 is odd value. So here I'm writing x of 3 followed by x of 7. So entire input sequence now it has been reshuffled. Entire input sequence has been reshuffled according to the requirement of DIT FFT algorithm. So we are providing the bit reversed order of the input sequence to the algorithm, and algorithm computes DFT. The output of this algorithm, it is in the sequential manner. So this is called as a DIT FFT algorithm. Why input is bit reversed order? So here it is explained. Here it is explained. What I have told you. The first point, we have divided the sequence into even sequence and odd sequence. Further, even sequence is divided into further even and odd. Here again, it is further divided into even and odd. So this 0, 0, 0, it has come first. 0, 0, 1, 1, 0, 0, it has come second. 0, 1, 0, it has come third. 1, 1, 0, it has come at the position of fourth. Here again, this has been 0, 0, 1, 0, 1, 0, 0, 1, 1, and triple 1. So accordingly, you can keep in mind. This is in this way we can this way you can keep in mind bit reversal order. So radix 2 algorithm, the radix 2 algorithm, the sequence of length n satisfied as n is equal to 2 raised to L. I have told you 8-point sequence. I have shown you for 8-point sequence. How do we write? Number of points are 8, which is equal to 2 raised to 3. Means here it requires for a DIT FFT algorithm computation of DFT values, it will take 3 level of computation. It will take L indicating the number of level that need to be applied in order to find out the output. So 3 levels are required. How does DIT FFT algorithm operates? Now it is now you are much curious to understand. I have created the background for DIT FFT algorithm. So you are much curious in order to understand how does it operates. How does this DIT FFT algorithm operate? So we will see operation of this DIT FFT algorithm. Okay, so to decompose an n point time domain signal into n signals, we will be decomposing signal, each containing a single point. So each decomposing stage uses interlace decomposition, separating what. How do we do this? We are separating the sequence into even and odd. Further even and odd, we do it up to the sequence should be of single point sequence. So entire sequence, entire n point domain, n point sequence, we will be separating up to a single point. So here for separating this up to a single point, it will require 3-stage computation. So each stage computation, we decompose the signal or the sequence into 2 different stages, into 2 different values. First is even values and second sequence consists of odd values, odd indexed samples, you can say. To calculate n frequency spectra corresponding to n time domain signals, here the objective is to calculate the DFT values, n point DFT values corresponding to this n point input data sequence. The objective of DIT FFT algorithm is to compute the n point output n point DFT values. Okay. So here, a signal of 16 point is considered. For signal of 16 point, now if my input is of 16 point, input is 16 points. So capital N is equal to 16. So here you can say that how many stages will be required? 2 raised to 4 means here L is equal to 4. Number of stages for computation of FFT by using radix to DIT algorithm, we need to apply 4 different stages. So this is the entire sequence. Now what we will do, we will divide this complete sequence into even number and odd numbers. What I'm saying that the first what we do, we will be dividing the entire sequence. First, this is a first stage of computation, that what we have done, we have divided the sequence into even number sequence, and these are the even number sequence and these are the odd number sequence. We have collected even numbers together, 0, 2, then 4, 6, 8, 10, 12 and 14. These are the even numbers, and odd numbers are 1, 3, 5, 7, 9, 11, 13 and 15. These are the even number, odd numbers. So we have divided at the first stage, this entire 16 points have been divided into even points and odd points. Further, these even points are again divided into even and odd. These even points, again, what is the scheme for the next stage? That even points are again going to be divided into even and odd values. So what are the even values in this case? Even values are 0, 4, 8 and 12. And odd values are 2, 6, then next is 10 and 14. So this way partition will happen. This is the next partition. For odd also, the partition is going to be, we will be doing partition in this way. So this is the second stage of computation. This is the second stage of computations, right? So this is the second stage of computation. The further here, the odd points are also going to be divided into even values or even points and odd points. Okay. So again, in the next stage, though these are the from these values again, what we are going to do, we are going to divide them into even values and odd values. So these are the 0 and 8 are the even values, 4 and 12 are the odd values, because their position, 4 is at x of 1 position, this position is odd, so we have written here x of 4 and x of 12 are the odd points, right? So similar kind of things will be applied for the remaining parts also. So this is the third stage of computation. This one is the third stage of computation. And last stage, now you can see that 16 point have been divided into 8.8 point, 8 point divided into 4.4 point, 4 point divided into 2.2 point. And finally, in the final stage, it will be divided into 1 point. So what is the algorithm does? It 16 point signal is divided into a single point. And for this division, it will take 4 stages. The entire sequence is being divided into a single point. So depending upon the number of points, the formula we have, n is equal to 2 raised to L. So those many stages are required in order to divide the entire sequence into a single point. So this is the DIT FFT algorithm. So this is what we did. We have reshuffled, reordered the input signal. So after reordered input signal, when we apply to the algorithm, it computes final output called as a DFT values, or the frequency n point frequency spectrum values. So those values now we will see how it is being calculated. So algorithm. So in this algorithm, the principle of this algorithm, the objective of this algorithm is to divide n point sequence x of n into n by 2 point sequence, and second n by 2 is half. In this way, we are going to divide the sequence, and first sequence and second sequence is denoted as x1 of r and x2 of r. What we are doing, we will be dividing this sequence into 2 parts. N by 2 point sequence consists of first part, remaining n by 2 point sequence consists of second part. It is being denoted with x1 of r, and the second part is being denoted with x2 of r, right? The total x1 of x of n is now divided into 2 parts. The first part is represented as x1 of r, and second part is represented as x2 of r. The number of values present in both the sequences are equal. N by 2 point sequence of first x1 of r, n by 2 point sequence of second x2 of r, both are equal point of sequence. So x1 of r, it consists of even values, so it is denoted as x of 2r. X1 of r consists of even values, so those are represented as x of 2r, whereas x2 of r consists of odd values, and those are represented as x of 2r plus 1. And this r varies from 0 to n by 2 minus 1. Now, this x1 of r and x2 of r, after division, this x1 of r and x2 of r are used to calculate the DFT values. These values we will be using, or this we will be using to find out DFT values. Okay, so here the equation is written in total equation is written. So this equation is x1 of k is equal to summation R varies from 0 to n by 2 minus 1 because range of R is varying from 0 to n by 2 minus 1. So this x1 of R, W raised to, I have taken, I have represented in terms of Twiddle factor, this exponential part. So it is W raised to Rk suffix n by 2 because total number of points present in the sequence are n by 2 points. So this is suffix n by 2. So what is R? R is, what is this? X1 of R. X1 of R is nothing but x of 2R. So this is being substituted here. So summation R varies from 0 to n by 2 minus 1 x of 2R W raised to Rk suffix n by 2. So in this way, the first partition is being calculated. And second partition is calculated as x2 of k, which is equal to summation R varies from n by 2 minus 1 x2 of R W raised to Rk suffix n by 2. So we know that x2 of R is nothing but x of 2R plus 1. It is being substituted. And the equation has become summation R varies from 0 to n by 2 minus 1 x of 2R plus 1 W raised to Rk suffix n by 2. So these two partitions, or from these two partitions, we can find out DFT values. The remaining part we will see in the next lecture. So we'll stop here for today's lecture. Thank you for attending this.